Hello, everyone. How are you? Here to give you what happened on Alone, Season 8, Episode 6. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, folks, if you haven't seen the show yet, Clay, he got the buck. Nice sized buck. He was proud of it. He quickly gutted that thing, skinned it, and he realized he's 2.5 miles away from a shelter, his campsite, so he had to cut it up in pieces and make a few trips. He finally got all of it to his camp. He hung some of it up on a tree, hopefully away from the predators and grizzlies and black bears. And the rest of it, he built a little cabin thing, and he did that in one day. That was impressive because he just went right to work on it, and he smoked the deer meat. He's smoking it, so it's kind of like a smokehouse, hothouse, he called it. He's hanging the deer strips up inside, covered up with spruce trees and that, and just let it smoke and cook. So he said that's going to keep me going for quite a while. He just got to pay attention now that grizzlies do not come to his campsite and get at that meat. He ate the deer heart, enjoyed his meal. I don't blame him one bit. I will enjoy that meal too. Now on to Bickle. He's lost 50 pounds so far. He finally, after 25 days, that guy finally caught a fish. He got excited. It was a small rainbow trout, but he said, hey, I got a freaking fish. He cooked that thing up, folks. He ate the eyeballs for the fatty acid intake. He ate the bones for vitamin A. He's realizing now maybe instead of relying on fishing, and he calls himself a great fisherman, he might have to choose to go after some wildlife, go hunting. And he has a to-do or not-to-do list. I love this. Number one on his not-to-do list. Do not, no matter what, freaking hit the tap-out button. When he caught the fish, he screamed at the top of his lungs. He started rock and rolling. Maybe, buddy, that's why it took you 25 days to catch a fish. Just saying. Just joking there. Rose. Showed Rose. The wind was getting to her shelter. She's finding it too cold now. Bears are still showing up around her campsite. We're still freaking her out, but she's toughing it out. She's got a good supply of berries and wild onions to keep her going. But like she said, I can only last so long on that. Teresa. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Teresa went home last episode. There was two Teresas this season. That was confusing. This is the one that made the two shelters real quickly. Two makeshift shelters. She's decided now after 25 days to stay in one shelter because she said it's a little bit of a hike for her to go to one shelter to the other and getting this close to the end of the competition. And she might have to go past 30 days. She's going to decide to stay in one shelter. She fixed it up. She built a door to it to keep the wind out. She took some spruce and pine tree branches and she roped them up with some logs. Kind of made it look like a triangle, and she stuck in the front of a door to keep the wind out. But she noticed when she went in there to set up the campfire, the whole shelter is enclosed, right? So it filled up full of smoke, and she started getting filled up. So she had to quickly exit the shelter, I'm sorry. So she made the same thing Jordan did. Kind of like a stone tower thing outside of her tent. And now when she sets the fire, it goes up like a chimney and outside. Coda. I feel bad for him. A bear, while he was out hiking in the woods, he came back to his campsite and a bear rummaged through. Tore it up. Destroyed his fire pit he had. Found his stash of berries and ate those. But he did not find the stash of onions. So he's got some onions still. And that sucks too because he was storing a lot of berries. But the grizzly caught scent of it where it was and dug it up from the ground and ate it. Ate him. So he went back to fishing, had no luck. So he decided he wanted to make some kind of fish net. But due to the regulations of this area, they cannot use that type of net until 45 days. I guess because of the fishing laws and that. So he made a freaking huge other type of fish trap, and that thing's freaking humongous. Reminds me of one of like those blowhorns the Vikings used to blow into back in the day. Jeez, almighty, that thing is humongous. He ended up putting that in the boat, took it out of the middle of the lake, dropped it off into the water, and he tied some logs, onto the trap to keep it afloat. So kind of like a bobber, so he knows where he dropped it off at. So he said after a couple days, I'm going to check it out. Hopefully there's some fish inside. And last but not least, Nate. He's lost 35 pounds. You could actually see the bone, like the bone edge around his cheekbones, the edge of the bone, worried him. He checked his fish line. He had a fish on it, but he was pulling it in and got away. And kind of found out it was barely hooked on. So he reset the line. Went back a couple days later, and there was other fish on it, and actually he got a bonus. 2 fish into 1. The bow trout had a small rainbow trout hooked on it. So he ate the rainbow trout, cooked that up. He was doing fine, doing good. He was just relaxing at camp, taking it easy, thinking about his family and his wife. But he said, I'm doing this 25 days, I got this. But he had an accident. When he boiled his hot water from the pot, he drank it. And when he set it back down, he noticed there was balls in it and other stuff. Apparently a squirrel had got inside of his pot because he left the cover off and did his business in the water. And he didn't realize that when he drank that at the time, so he got sick off of it, vomit. He was afraid he might have got a case of salmonella poisoning from the squirrel feces. So that did it in for him. The way he was like, he tapped out in 25 days, folks. Nate's gone. And that was a shocker. Like, he was doing good. And just because he ended up getting sick, like he said, I didn't know. Like, I thought I might have got the salmonella poisoning. That he said, and I was losing body weight, even though I was eating fish. Just not enough big fatty protein. That he said, and he missed his wife and family. He said 25 days. He said it's a big accomplishment to him. He wished he could have toughed it out for 5 more days or more. So he decided to go home. So we're down to 5 people left, folks. Teresa, Rose, Coda, Bicko, and Clay. Out of the 5 that's there, I gotta say Clay and Teresa's doing pretty good, and Coda. Bicko and Rose, they still got a ways to go, I think. 25 days in, 5 days left, folks. Let me know below if you think they're going to go past the 30-day mark. Because I think they actually are going to go past the 30 days. And if they are, who do you think is going to go next? And who do you want to see win this competition? Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.